Welcome to LCCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication, the podcast that celebrates the incredible individuals who have shaped the heart and soul of the Lawrence County Community Action Partnership.
Each episode, we'll dive deep into the stories of those who have devoted their careers to making a difference, not just in our organization, but in the lives of the people we serve every day.
We'll uncover their journeys, explore the moments that inspire them, and highlight the lasting impact of their commitment to LCCAP's mission.
So whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply celebrate the amazing people who make LCCAP what it is, thank you for joining us.
This is LCCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication.
Let's get started with today's guest.
Welcome to number 26 of our weekly podcast show. I have my wonderful co-hosts today, Amber and Janae, with me.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest, Chris Cain. He is our iMatter program case manager assistant. So he's here to talk a little bit about our iMatter program, which is a program referred by juvenile probation. So we just want to learn a little bit about Chris Cain and about the iMatter program and all the things that the kiddos do in the iMatter program. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Happy to have you in the studio today.
Happy to be here.
So, Chris, take us back. How long have you been working part-time at Lawrence County Community Action Partnership in our iMatter program?
I've been here for about 3 years. You were actually the one that told me about it. It's a second job. I work at Preston's car dealership full-time. Been there for about 10 years, married to Kim's sister. We have one kid, 14 years old, Lily. And you told me about it. You thought I'd be really good at it. I love kids, all ages. And at first I didn't know what to expect. And after meeting everybody, juvenile probation officers, Pat Micco, Kevin, Ted, Miss Carrie at iMatter, at LCCAP, Dave. When I started, it was with Stephanie Quigley, and then Miss Kristen, and now Stephanie Glavin. So I've had my share of people in charge, but they're all awesome. Like I said, I love working with the juvenile kids. We always say that the only difference between them and us is they got caught, we didn't. But yeah, that's how I got started. Kim told me about it, and 3 years later I've been here and I love it.
Yes, I can remember the day that our director, Tracy Cherry at the time, she was saying, we need a male figure at the iMatter program. And I said, you know what? I said, let me ask my brother-in-law, Chris, because like he said, he is so great with kids and kids just attach to him. Kids of all ages, actually. I mean, little to, teenage years. And so I said, let me ask him if he would be interested because he's pretty busy with his daughter, my niece, Lily. She does a lot of different sports and he coaches and he's just a busy guy. And I said, let me see if he's interested. And he said, yeah, let me give it a shot. And like he said, three years now down the road, he's still here and the kids love him, each group that we have. iMatter is a program that is, again, referred with juvenile probation. So they're in 12-week increments. So the program runs for 12 weeks. And then after that, we'll get a new group of students, kiddos to come in and be in that new program. So he's seen a lot of kids over the last 3 years and a lot, have grown and learned and became successful young adults.
And during those programs, what are some of the things that you guys do with the kids?
So we do a real colors test. Everybody does it. I've actually did it. I think it's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite things. Thursdays, we do cooking projects. Every Tuesday when Pat comes in, JPO, they'll do real colors and a crossroads. And they learn about different personality traits that everybody's different and stuff. There's 4 colors, blue, green, yellow, and gold. Or I said that wrong. Orange, blue, green, gold. I actually just did it on your sister last night. I brought it home, and she thought it was awesome. Pat gave me the booklet to bring home. But Thursday, you could do cooking projects. We make blankets. We donate it to women's shelters. We do the chop cooking contest. The kids love it. We go to the gym. We play basketball, volleyball, kickball. We painted. We have people and speakers come in from the crisis shelter. So there's a lot of different things, but the kids really enjoy everything. I think their favorite thing is probably the cooking. But yeah, it's really fun. I really enjoy everything we do there.
So what initially inspired you to want to work with the youth?
Well, like Kim said, like I said, I just love kids. I don't know where that comes from. My mom wasn't like that a lot. Probably my dad a little bit, but I just love kids. I always say I'm a kid at heart. People look at me, I'm a big, tall, 6'6" guy, but I always say I'm like a teddy bear once you get to know me. But I can relate to a lot of these kids. We've all had a past. We've all went down where you either had to take one road or the other. And unfortunately for me, at one point in time in my life, I took the wrong road. But everybody makes mistakes, so I think I relate to that a lot. So it helps me, be able to relate to these kids and help them. And when we're doing things and I see somebody, whether it's, they come in because they go to school and it's a long day for them. You have to go from school and then you have to go to iMatter for 3.5 hours. So somebody might, they might not be feeling good. They might be going through something. And I'll pull them aside and talk to them and just try and settle them down a little bit, ask them what's going on. But for the most part, like I said, I enjoy everything I do. Everybody's great there. Even the kids. This group we have, I think there's about 12 or 13 kids. When we first came in, we thought it's a pretty big group, but they're awesome. They really are. Everybody participates, raises their hands. That's big participation and showing up. So they're doing what we're asking. So far, so good.
What's something that you wish more people, Chris, knew and understood about the youth that you work with?
Said everybody makes mistakes. People always ask me when I say I have a second job and I tell them where it's at, and the first thing out of their mouth most of the time is, so they're bad kids that got in trouble. And I say, that doesn't mean they're bad kids. We all did something in our life. They got caught, we didn't. But they're really good kids. I mean, they're 13. They could range from 11 to 17 years old, all Lawrence County. But I just want people to know that just because they're on juvenile probation, it doesn't label them as a bad kid. They're still young. They have the rest of their life to understand what they want to do, and we're just here to help them, guide them, to go down that right path.
Yeah, I worked in the iMatter program too for probably about 5 years or so. And you're exactly right. The kids just want somebody that they could vent to, that they could talk to. Maybe they don't have that at school. Maybe they don't have that at home. Maybe the only chance they get to talk to somebody like you, like Carrie, like Dave, like our chief probation, Pat, like all the probation officers, they just need somebody that they feel comfortable to talk to, and they have that support there. They feel comfortable.
The process is 12 weeks. So when you originally get that group in, what is it like watching them go from that first week to the 12th week, and how are you able to see the different changes that occur?
Usually when they first come in, all you hear is, what time is it? And like we had a kid the other day, they said, what time is it? Literally not even 60 seconds later, he said, what time is it? I looked at him, I said, are you serious? You just asked what time it was 30 seconds ago. But when they first come in, they're usually a little agitated. I didn't do anything. Why am I here? Stuff like that. But, we explain to them what's going to go on. And after that first week, they usually settle down. From week 1 till the end, it's just drastically, it's crazy, the improvements that you see with these kids. I think they just want to know, when they know that you have an adult that's there for you and that really cares about you, you'll see a change in their attitude. And that's huge for kids. I remember growing up, I played sports all my life. There was coaches that you could kind of tell that they were just there to be a coach. And then there was coaches that you knew that cared about you. And when you know somebody really deeply cares about you and they want to see you do good, it'll really change a kid's life.
And just knowing there's an adult there that's not judging them for any potential mistakes that they made.
Right. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's the entire staff, Carrie, Dave, Pat. I mean, these people, they're unbelievable. It's like just watching them talk to these kids and the way they act. Everybody's very good with the children, and they really have the best people, and everybody hopes for the best things for them. So they're in good hands.
So what is something impactful that you've learned working with the youth in the iMatter program?
Well, like I said, everybody's different. I love watching the kids transform from that week 1 to the end. Everybody wants to come in and just get it done within that first week, but we try and tell them patience is key. Trust the program. And then at the end of the 12 weeks, and even before it's over, they're talking about how much fun they have. I love watching them grow. That puts a smile on my face because, like I said, I remember not too long ago I was their age and I was sitting in almost the same seat as them. So it's just great to see, them go from when they walk into the door until the end.
And you mentioned towards the beginning of the episode that you had your own hardships in life. Well, what message would you give to the community that takes away about the importance of second chances in life, whether that's young or old?
I mean, I sometimes it takes more than a second chance. It might be a third chance, but everybody deserves second chances. Like I said, it might take more than a second chance. We're all human. We all go down different paths in life. Everybody's different. But like I said, these kids and the things they did, that they're not crazy things. It might be a fight at school. It might be graffiti on a wall or something out past curfew. But I would just tell the community that, we got to stop putting a label on people. Mm-hmm. Somebody who messes up, and like I said, the first thing you say when I say I work at LCCAP with juvenile probation kids, it's, oh, they're bad kids, you mean? No, they're not bad kids. Everybody goes through different things, and I think that the community just needs to learn about certain things that are out there and be a little more empathetic and understanding.
Absolutely, because you never know what cards people are dealt.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that we just talk about chances because just a little while ago, earlier this afternoon, there was a gentleman that was here and he said, I'm just so happy and blessed that I'm able to get, and he said, like the 40th chance. And it's true. Sometimes it just takes, like you guys said, Chris, a couple times, 2, 3, 4, and in some instances, 40. Who knows? But at least you're making that effort and knowing, what needs to be done and changed and what you did and what you can learn from it and grow. So like you said, Janae, you never know what card you're going to be dealt with. So just to take it all in and try your best and do your best and give your all. That's all we can do. And then be here for one another.
And you also mentioned that you do other things in the community. So what other things are you doing other than, working at the dealership?
So, yeah, I work at Preston's. I work here at LCCAP. I coach a youth travel softball team. My daughter plays on Silver Creek. I've coached basketball. Sometimes I do lessons on the side for basketball. I'm a big sports junkie. Anything that's sports, I'm usually involved. I think that's why, I relate to the kids so much because the first thing they want to do and they want to know about when we're going to the gym. That's the first words usually out of their mouth. And it's always the same time, every Tuesday, every Thursday, and they still ask the same question, what time are we going to the gym? And then we go to the gym, and there I am running around like I'm 18. My hamstrings are hurting, my knees are hurting. But, yeah, we have a lot of fun.
They have a way of keeping you young.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They sure do. Yep. Let's go play basketball. Come on, Chris. Let's go. And he loves it just as much as they love it.
And I'm sure that makes a big impact on them, you wanting to play basketball with them and wanting to run around with them.
It does, yeah. They really enjoy it. I was playing the one kid. I won't say his name. He said, come on, I could take you. I said, you sure? I said, there hasn't been an iMatter kid that beat me once yet. And that's not no lie. But we were playing. We were 1 minute into the game, and he started holding his side saying, I got a cramp. I got to stop. I said, wait, you're 16. I'm 39. Well, why do you have the cramp? I should have the cramp.
They're so cute, the young kids. If you go for a walk, my legs hurt. I got to sit down and take a break. Little sweethearts.
And it is important that you guys are so hands-on with the kids because nowadays a lot of parents, are actively working, so they're not in the home as much. A lot of kids are being raised by TV screens. So it's just nice to know that not only do they have people who care and show up for them, but they also have people who are actually putting in the work, playing basketball games, being sore after playing those basketball games, but at least you're there and you're present in their lives. So when it comes to after the program, are there ever instances where kids still keep in touch with you?
There is. Like I said, I don't technically work in the LCAP building, so I'm not here as much as Miss Carrie and Mr. Dave and them people. But Kim, Carrie, they'll tell me that so-and-so asked about Mr. Chris. I think the one time you called me, you had a kid in the office. He wanted to speak with me. So things like that. I try to keep tabs on them. I ask Mr. Pat and stuff like that. So, yeah, we usually try and keep in touch. But for the most part, like I said, I'm not here on a daily basis. So I kind of just see them. I see a lot of them. I ran into a couple of them at Walmart, 7-Eleven, and then I ask them how they're doing. But they always have a smile on their face. So that shows me that they're happy to see me, and it makes me feel good.
When we were out for, I think it was for recital at Pegley's, one of the little girls, she was a waitress there, our waitress, and she said, Mr. Chris. So that was nice, just the kids seeing them and wanting to, say hi to them and telling them, I got a job, or this is what I'm up to, or I'm graduating high school, or I have one more year left, or, it's just nice to keep up with the kids.
So when you do see the kids in the community, what is it like for you knowing that you and also the team that works here help to maybe get them on to a better path?
To me, it means everything that I just had a small piece in helping them maybe get to where they want to get. Because that's the ultimate goal, is just showing them that they have people that care about them, truly care about them. Because, kids, they talk about it all the time. If you're an adult and you're speaking and you're being fake to them, they'll see right through you. And they could tell who the ones that really care about you. Same thing with a coach, same thing with anything that goes on in life. So when I see them, and it shows me that, they really want to see me and want to talk to me, it just means the world to me.
And just piggybacking off of that question, one of the main themes here on this podcast is legacy. And we like to ask each guest, once you're done working with LCAP or, working the iMatter program, what legacy are you hoping to leave?
I would hope that all the kids, my peers, everybody that I've worked with had just said that he was authentic. He really showed up to work. He gave it his all. He cared about every kid. He wanted to make an impact. And I think that would be the biggest thing.
Nice. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the personal round, and we're going to make our way to the quick fire round. And how that works is we're going to ask you a series of questions, and you're just going to answer with whatever comes to your mind first. So whoever wants to take it away first, can go ahead.
So you mentioned the couple sports that you like. What is your favorite sport to watch?
Basketball.
Who's your favorite basketball team?
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, I was just going to ask you who's your favorite football team too. I know this, but we'll share it with everyone.
Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all Ohio.
Did you grow up near Cleveland?
I did not. My two uncles, they like the Browns, the Indians, the Cavaliers. My dad and brother like the Steelers, so I must have followed my uncles.
I like the Browns too. And then what did you want to be when you were younger? What was your dream job, or what did you want to do?
Pro basketball player.
You played basketball in high school too.
I did.
Yep.
Your favorite way to relax after a long day?
Just laying on the bed watching reality TV.
Any particular show?
I'm probably going to take a lot of heat for this, but One Tree Hill.
You know what? I never watched that.
I've never
Did you
seen it.
Neither have I.
No.
Yeah, I never did. I've heard of it,
It's really good.
but yeah, I've never watched it. But you know me, it's hard for me to sit down and just like get into something and watch
Yeah, she
TV. I
doesn't.
never do.
She doesn't like to sit down.
I'm always up and doing something. And then what is one of your favorite movies ever?
Well, I'm sure everybody's going to laugh about this, but The Wizard of Oz.
That's Ella Rosa. She's been so into it lately. It keeps popping up on like Amazon Prime or something. She's like, I really like this. I want to watch it.
It's such a classic.
Yes, she loves it. Just being 5 years old, my daughter, I'm going to have to tell her Uncle Chris loves this movie too.
Aw. Do you prefer Apple or Android?
Android.
There we go.
I always take slack by my wife and everybody over that.
I like Android better. I have
I'm
an
just
Android.
I'm not an iPhone Apple person.
See, I find they're more like simple, like more simplistic to use. Apple,
Oh,
Android, they run their programs run and run and run. Don't, like I haven't had one for years, but I always find like it being more difficult than the Apple.
I think Android is much easier, but that's just me.
How about on the subject of phones, texting or calling? What would you prefer to do?
100% texting.
I would rather call. How about you girls?
Depends on who it is.
Yes.
Because I always have so much to say. Like I want to get it all out. Texting, you don't get the full effect of
Well,
the
you can always send a
conversation.
voice note.
That's one thing
think I know how.
I don't do that.
I send
I don't
voice
think
notes.
I've ever did a voice note. But I'm that type of person. If I'm texting, I'll send a paragraph or a book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Why didn't you just call me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't want to take the time. I'd rather just text and write it
Yeah.
out."
Yeah, that's how I am.
It's probably because you also work all day talking to people. So
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to relax.
Yes. Yeah. Here's my text, and this is what I want to say. And then, oh, you got it.
So, Chris, what is your dream vacation destination?
Oh, that's a good one.
You could go anywhere.
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 Once again, I'm very different. Like we just went to Florida. I'm one of them people. I don't need to go on vacations, but if I could pick anywhere, it would probably just be a simple like Disney.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Disney's fun.
I've went one time when I was a little kid, and it's like the one memory. It's never left my brain. But like I said, I'm a kid at heart, so I think I'd have a blast at Disney.
I got to go my senior year of high school, and all of us seniors were all like little kids at Disney. We had so much fun.
Yep.
And who would you have play you in a movie? Like who would be the person to play you if you had a movie about Chris Cain?
Johnny Depp.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
I love him in all his movies.
Yeah, big Johnny Depp fan.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us here in the podcast and telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you do here at the iMatter program. And, you know, what you do does matter. So we appreciate you coming in and telling us, you know, your story.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're so happy to have you on, Chris. Thanks so much for giving us, you know, insight about yourself and about our iMatter program that's here at Lawrence County Community Action Partnership. We thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, guys.
And before we end this episode, is there anything else that you would like to say or get off your chest?
No.
All right. Well, that'll do it for episode 26 of LCCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication. And we'll be back next week with another special guest. So tune in.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful rest of the week, everyone.